Okay, man. What's going on? Yeah, some more. Yeah, man. George Darko. George Darko. May he find rest. Strengths, man. Yeah, man. And to you, Fred Kwame Brown. Good morning, Kwame. No answer, but second. Line one. George Darko. Sound of George Darko, voice of Lee Dodo. May George Darko continue to rest. Peace 104.3. George. John in Team Fojo, a software Reverend John in Team Fojo, William Rashid Bedwinima Sin South, was also a ranking member of Parliament, Defense and Interior Committee. Also for my J.
Oh, yeah, Chairman General.
Boko de.
Namada Roma, no, you pronounce it.
Ye den yamiase. Anope nkomoki twe bikeke. What the nkomobia to dwa efa asema Ora Sam George and Ora Dapemako ekan about military. Na and nkomo ye dia.
You, Chairman General, the tennis a bra soldier for a day or market to draft so more baby recruit soldier for Akampura military more and Honorable Sam George, our or your cabinet minister, and then Honorable Dakam about a chief with my NDC or parliament. The agenda be very dangerous agenda to me say armed forces. The Beshi Moon said, yes, the sun age limit. No, now you say, wow, we're up to 35 for crown and found one skills are any day winning. Yeah, more beyond fine up to 35 in Milgram. Now, or not with a chamber gospel crowdy or such the team said he's making those calls because the party full soldiers, and I said, yeah, a man can be a one of the party full soldiers. I want a constituency, a man of price. I said, one no more age limit, I want answer one, and one into the page and 35. Now, I'm at Miapo. And I'm a day to that say. Mistakes are a man may be a year to Liberia during President Talbot's time. Our more politics be without Ghana or more armed forces more. So you have formed before 2 or more for 1 tea. It be a move and a politician be a party for soldier be a and found on him see a wedding. You move they do move both qualified and unqualified, you know. And then mark the beginning of their instability and to Quantoqua, Sasia. Betumone, Liberia, say no more air press will begin on Monaso. Me and my politics, a be Ragana and forces. Me, my detailed analysis of the requirement of Ghana Armed Forces. So, Womunya would say, Minian William would say, I share the requirements are Armed Forces, the Abituga, and in the past, the year of Ghana regarding our recruitment, they will make those calls. But Ghana, there are people who are 35 years or 30 years to 35 to me, F1 military. However, those ones with specialized skills, will be an IT skill, be our Kurano, some cyber security skill, be our one, or mining here, but we'll do a 30-35. Almost every fighting force we work is going to provide that specialist, skill into who to me fan doctor for engineers, architects, and they find similar skills. In this country, we have been recruiting enlisting around that age. Even the one to crowd or telegraph, what kind section F, the category of a Juma they have determined that the Nipana Bro 24, 27, that's when you're 30 krana is eligible to apply. So what is their problem? I don't think the politics. They have incited young population, 35 and above, for against one government. And then the been more cases. Be an agenda and paying for Nadia Small, all the Ghana, any politicians here. Oh, baby, be a no pen for food, or one or days, or one for shoe. Or the shoe now in the reaction, no one will obey. In case they say, a woman pop, Sir President Mahama, Captain Commander in Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, one more. Policy, or more baby sheep, or baby over 80 foot now. We are resistant and say, as you know, they should keep it up. Every country wants a youthful military. You don't want less than 75 to 85% of your people. You want to keep about 85% of your battalion very young, less than 30. Engineers will be way more. By the time I will be training now, experience about 10 years, 135 day chrono. No, I have a new soldier, no, a sergeant, warrant officer, and one or two. You know, or yet, soldier, penny human. Now, found very late. Or if you can, now, all Babia soldier, Mofra Eduman. Oh, young or dimple Franco, yes, Eduman. Oh, young the motivation for Franco, yes. And so the medical bills are the bound big jam. Overwhelming. And those political costs, they should stop it. But any woman has small, and your commander in chief, and the NDC are buying their post agenda, and they should issue a disclaimer. So, Moon send him, and they disregard those costs. I am misguided, I am misconceived, very dangerous and backward. German General, Ghana, and then they say, per course, beer, and uncommodia beer. A bad boy, a buying bomb, any security. I mean, look at the kind and said, we should immediately appoint a defense minister. No serious country will leave their defense minister position vacant for over a month. No serious country will do that. So, Bambo, you will not leave your defense ministry vacant. Say, a minister or whatever busy, one of the most important ministers, they won't in some ground. A year overwhelming and acted as a defense minister for more than 1 month. That is wrong. That is the call some George and Afiam performance make for immediate appointment of a defense minister. Number 2, most critical discussion we must have on Ghana Armed Forces. And they say, a command body, a command. You deal with budget, that is what they should call for the government to release to them. And for them to so be to put a one ama a candy equipment in your mouth, a one you place and what do I? Young grand woman see what you just conference you see. Yes, say the apparentum of an acquire you to me say more, you said yes, nine. And then after critical logistics are here, yen Toma, and only command city, Nembono, 4,000 population here on my say. Over Chairman General, ask yourself, where are they going to stay? And soldier for and yet you may queer. Oh, funk or four knockers won't go high down with women. Ofana, especially very young new recruits now, you have to keep them in the bar. And you know, and command so much I would hear, and they say, I'm what dear, but my work, no more CBA come. That over, I say, as a yes, CC, only release this Kadiama over CC, near expanded. Success can quite. They will have the financial clearance and the resources are 4,000 commit me a fabro, I got 12,000. I don't know why. Since Ghana, the median age is 21.5 no. Suggesting say we have a lot of youthful population in those countries. When you are younger, who might ready to obey humanity, whether NDC or FP, there are more than 1 from 35 and above. And you know, they hear they say, "Move be a more musica." The DSC, Ghana Armed Forces, they are after to you maybe now. 4,000 people, or increasing to 10,000. Now, absolutely also, that is the kind of discussion we should be having, and not to just open the age up and for party full soldiers to make. We will not be any minority yet. We will resist any attempt by NDC to make Ghana Armed Forces a dumping ground for overage and unqualified party full soldiers. Yeah, my fine. But in the quick woman said, they make a Ghana Armed Forces depending for any of them. So yeah, I need to make that clarity. Agenda almost any movie. They are doing their professional, neutral, creditable work. Let us allow them to do their work without interference.
Honorable Medas, the 21st Mobesanko Parliament to be resist as Simiana.
Yamini Bompire, Sama General, said they do an Yamiaton Parliament. We have from about the year 21st now over the Abba, or more than 2 and 7 UDR. The quite event was over.
You bedding commentary, Pachama Sanfro. Medas Winshra so Reverend in Team Fojo, Mrashe, Bejani, Emma Asen South, Sanso, ranking member on Parliament's Defense and Interior Committee, Peace 104.37 to 10.
Peace FM 104.3. Good to meet target.
Professor, Machibium. One for sale and Bele Kiki, Una Pacho one tredia. Or shall bow any so. Nitrinqua say no offer. Ayamuye. Go and sin no more. Kege.
Tell what you do.
My chair to say.
Yamia do me be aboko.
The Yamias Yamakwa Banso.
Tell Mammy Darcy.
And I know your heroine, so yet on Casaja, a chinchi and anti where you meant. Wait to me, I'm a kind of
chairman. Na yako out of Accra. Mammy use opportunity with na menchia na menchia with tearful na
yeah, Joso
opening na menchia my senior brother na chairman Mary D Psalm 147 verse 5.
Hey baby, how do you know?
And baby chi bi wo baby am brofu bi wo baby am pe say opening me metuanika say eya your back classroom e de ka the chairman ye tromika nyina ma me
e your de kapa
e de America
your de kapa
et no o kan Psalm 147 verse 5
what's the day
Bible ne say of course he great is our Lord and abundant in strength. His understanding is infinite. Opening infinite no ni treating at the saying like ube to me a church
any awie adase any baby a copy.
Great is our Lord and abundant in strength. His understanding any
cambia.
Okay. Opening Yamisha na the mama kind verse when you say say Nyankopon enti ase anasa na any
Cambia
kabia
anaria
and chese ne te kra
no sena ye oti ase a oye maye no eni ewiye enti no e chese the purpose and kan nyina ne say nyame doyen seno doyen no eni ewiye enti saa na wose yanso do nipa edo a wose yedi do nipa no saa edo no eni kwan se ewe ewiye me ka ba besi so say sɛ wodɔ ɔman Ghana ɛni kwan sɛ wode kyamfa ɛkɔsi nsuo mu because sɛ wodɔ ɔman no a ɛni kwan sɛ saa nneɛma wei Eric ɛwɔ se yɛtumi yɛ ɛno a nine months operation mokɔyɛɛyɛ no yɛse forest ama yɛ nkɔm no Ghanafoɔ ne Chinese foɔ ɛhyɛ forest ni mu a ɔmo bɛn tano nsuo no river no ɛna ɔmo de kyamfa ne machines ɛne nneɛma akɔsi wɔ excavators ɛna ɔmo yɛ adeɛ a yɛ nyinaa yɛ se ɛnyɛ ade papa no Ghanafoɔ ne Chinese foɔ ɛyɛ adeɛ wei nti no ɛyɛ ɔdɔ no na yɛn dɔ ɔman no anaasɛ sɛbi nkurɔfoɔ sika kakra ɔmo bɛnya gu ɔmo bɔtɔm ɛna ɛyɛ ɔmo deɛ nti no sometimes ya mete waa na mebisa me ho sɛ nti ɛko wei yɛbɛyɛ de ako ɛko wei
na nyam na mo so metimi akɔ
ebi ne akɔkye ɔmo yi dem yɛkye ɔmo o nti kyerɛ sɛ nkurɔfoɔ ni ayamhyehye anaa menti aseɛ
wonti ase ma mema Eric Chum akwaba Eric Machi
Eric Mbrem ne yɛbɛkɔ conversation so
ɛsɛ yehu wache bra champion campaign ekoyi Meje
PMO Ashanti kakra. Ena yaba be san PMO ewa ha. Nti yegusun kakra. Baby abeko bia no party for no aje Dr. Brian Champon atum say yekoto aba no 31st January na. Yebeto aba na mano na waba be the MPP party nenim. Na de nkunimde aba 2028. Nti no yegusun kakra. We sure say one kasa so we need the campaign echi.
Mehamo.
Utie, Oshe said the Ecoso na say party for us why a crowd. Nti no, e de nyame ase say odi ababe PMO nka crowdium ha. And then me pe na ye koto aso ne nam ayawa so e wa ko PMO Kokrokoo te ya ba be wi wo ayawa so nof.
Mo number bi o china mo mani da so sem benya na.
Number.
Say o china mo ye balloting.
Balloting no. Oh, and dey say balloting keke. Enye bibia
say bu am say number bi o ha lucky number
but no say nipa
ba we no dey na am 5 into 18 be
nipa numpe na omugina
yeah
enti no number bia obenya no me sure say me ndi say number nankasa wo so wo abaton mu of course say for political strategy and the communication tino say unya number bia obetimi afa kwan bi so e dey use sa number no e dey acheche machre wo supporters no na wetimi dey communication but minji ndi say number nankasa e won so bia wo abato na ye kwa kotonu
apart from comms and strategy no
exactly say ni go say bia nipa no number 1 obetimi afa sa number 1 no ho e dey acheche party for say okwa odasro ho and as number 5 abeka say bia wa ase ho but ene number no we need numerologists there but ene number no ne be chere say obedi nkunim ana say oni nkunim nkita hodi a oni party for ni di ene gidi a omo say omo ma osa akwanya na obetimi edi party nenim na edi nkunim di aba na wo hwe ahokeka Greater Accra for edi achre Dr. Brian Champon na ye wa kakra if you say name say or support there but bibia wa ko bia no party for no age campaign no esi omo na so a omo mukra na omo ye campaign no ama Dr. Brian Champon nti e wogide say ye be ko ye be bo apro akọ ama mu nyina no na e be do 31st January no.
Well, let's see how it goes. In the meantime, MPP at the Abetuja, Sa rumor that Kone say Kwabena Japan you disqualify no. MPP at the Abetuja say no krebia enim. Iti moi yes monam sa openye jukum mubibi no sono. Mubibi no sono. O mubibi no sono ye friend no social media bi no. Prof say me MPP samu bibi no hwi ni ho sa say Kwabena ejepo you disqualify enye no kra. Justice Abeku no first says today our NDC friends are blaming Galamsey menace on unpatriotism of Ghanaians. Meanwhile, during MPP administration and Nanado, they said it was Nanado and Baumia deliberately creating that problem. Vindication is indeed in the womb of time. Justice Abeku Nitinyofe. Another Abeku says, I didn't know Eric could speak Chi like that. Eric, what you Chi, Naija?
Your friend is saying, me, Abon Pifono, Buffo, if you are Bompeni, Mamponde, says a bit to be you.
And I said, well, now Chi name won't. Okay. Now, say, me say, if you are called by a champion company, Yama school tutorials, Kaka.
Oh, maybe, and
I'm like, again. I feel to uncommon also. Naimos, Chinese, Burkinabes. Afenyo Makin says we should remove politics from Galamsey fight. Ebiswaka say, "Mwana mo de buy Indian fan remo." Twaso miti anano ka che say nka ba be man kwan be fa so be so but see why amen.
Oh, chairman meme.
Amen.
And
it was yenti uncommon.
Oh, you Christonia sometimes say or say e be use Bible no na microphone so atiase why we need to be patriotic. Na Chairman General Mechia Otiefobium.
Yeah, Joseph Papa.
Chairman General, yeah, educating people on mining and see are diving into the illegality of the mining. There were 2 types of mining in Ghana. Yadia Combremo. I na Jiatu say, and only at the Bay. Chairman General, you were the small scale mining, and you were the large scale mining. Large scale mining, mining, yade ama foreigners are. We a foreigner, you can come and invest. Just obey to me the Usika ba. No about by J concession, Ghana. No about by large scale mining. And you know by large scale mining. Your license, our Minerals Commission, your baby kind Eddie Amao. Your free BB recognizance license. And you know, the Mawa, a woko baby a opese woko ya o mine na woko ya bibi to say visual inspection wo de wani kwa akɔhwɛ site ho akɔhwɛ niam ho community engagement bi wo ha obeya no why because in mining the first point of call your community na woko akɔyɛ ejuma wo ho no so we need the support of the community there be enye so you need all those things and no be for the recognizance license we no free one no about for what we call the prospecting license. Prospecting license no see the mawa the maw say unkoye mine the maw say kwako discover say how much gold na a share assassin ase into wie ni nyina eno na obeye oga oye oga drilling na obetutu tokro keten wo site o nyina hwe gold a ubenya just to get a sign we are no abeye bibi a friend trenching obetu bibi to say garters side and side geological investigations na we are now feel all the drilling machine ababa see ho no why drilling because a rocker you need to go down no wakako hu abo no baby a share baby abo ne da any ho keka ho ni nyina will give you idea of what you call the resource estimate ntia no be guide o say okay say me the $100 million ebebe she ha gold e sha asase na ase no in the next 5 years no metu sa 100 million menya be a $7 billion nti no will guide you what kind of plant a wo ba be see what kind of crashes ni niam a wo de beba and no the large scale mining and very expensive nti no to say Newmont Gold Fields Anglo Gold and we are blessed with them so many natural resources in Ghana and over Africa high number 1 the world here than number 6 nti so who Newmont to be free America ba ha see no about be build $1 billion or they will invest $1 billion wa ha Shenzhen omunyina ebeba Ghana I was say we have good resources here but how to utilize the resources in a be ni a problem yes e hwe ne sa na say there be et say the wako jom oko shop we do shop right bi mo shop right bi mo store so kantaman to bi mo niam but ye wo bi mo so person mo ton ade no ni capital no ntia no ne friend no SMEs no small business no mo ye tabletop ne container mu na e ho keka ho no in mining so Ghana for se mo so bi ye cause gold na ye dia ntia no de bibi a friend small scale buy no It is a small scale na no dia oba just 25 acres per 12 blocks near Maubi. Na yamawa nkrata say kona koye for the next 5 years. Na last scale no tete no near the lease mawa is for 30 years. But aban we buy no you review the mining act 7 something no you review no. You review no we are yet so every 30 years and about 15 years. So we are making steps say we reduce the years of the lease. Sana small scale so is for 5 years. Now small scale no Chairman General and illegal.
Obianka say illegal. But yes, say small scale on paper and illegal. But in practice, I want a problem.
So as a regulator now, Minerals Commission, your mouse are permits now. Say kona small scale mining now. Small scale mining no. Have do na the omufreno alluvia no. You cannot do alluvia mining without excavator. You cannot even do large scale mining without excavator, especially so we open pit mining now. Into excavator there, you need excavator in mining. But how do we utilize the excavator to make sure see you mining now? That is where the problem now comes. Into Obiba no beji studio ha Peace FM studio ha. Say or the end small scale mining now. Excavator not be small scale mining no. The problem e Ghana ne say I identify ne say do na no mo beji mining lease for small scale mining no omo nya prospecting te say the makan a broni be ba be prospecting obehwe gold e hye ho and so de ni sika ba be hye mu no
there's some kwaya no me de nu form
the local for no mo see yakobo test nti on the oba no tam no mo was omo local we bi omo ye oye ya ohun say obenya 1 pound of gold omo friend 1 leg 1 pound of gold bia o say ahead no aba beji license but na the way if you say e bi o the 100,000 ko shemu a gold no obenya no onya 100,000 nti no oba ne ama ne license no no see okwa small scale a oba ko rent excavator obeto diesel excavator no renting an opani day and night matters almost say 12,000 Ghana cedis obeto drums of diesel you spend obenya expenditure afi at the end of the week obeto gold na ewie no sika odi akwa shemu no onya sa sika no in terms of gold back nti woman say on mining studio ha no esa so person onya ni sika back nti no atra no akọ the next studio no mine wo ho we nya lisika no atra no akọ the next studio but anke nya butren so ye the prospecting na anke bia gold no etana no ho ya o but gold ne san say openi ejaku o de eja bible no won say yes it's under is like a treasure under the darkness, treasures of darkness. And when you want to see that treasure under the darkness, you need to pray. And only prospecting, you need to dig to discover the treasure under the darkness. But they don't want to discover that treasure under the darkness. So now, even the wabeji permit nankasa oil mining no, were exceeding the geofencing area near the amount of oil mining no, and yatina osama sanyama way. Edidi akwa ma afi obi adidi baby a nti afi de yam beji license ne kra because license ne kra beji a gold no baby ekotu no kra bia na gold ni ni ho nti yam beji ende na obi atiesim ene aye hwe haya na edi aba besi baby a edui nti president Mahama bae no ene we hu problem no say kwan bein ene e be fa so a e be solve problem we a mining na ye na essential na ese environment kwan bein e be fa so a e be san hihye no nti ye the steps about ye be fa so a we will make sure say small scale mining ye be ye na mom yensuo no ye kwaye na ye se na ye be bo ho ban. President Mahama say under the previous government Queen Elizabeth baye Kwame Nkrumah baye nkrofo bebre aba Ghana ba be lead Ghana before but yen fam Arabian baye LI 246 we ne em baby da age say MPP aban Akufo-Addo na airline ni nyina ne sen airline ne say yen grant small scale mining into forest small scale mining yen nya no forest reserve large scale miners no and they go to the forest reserve but small scale mining yen go forest reserve but yen ma airline afena nkrofo go into the forest to go and do small scale mining. Chairman General, normally what I know in ecology they say most of our river bodies Nitino started free forest. Most of our river bodies. It is when you allow people into the forest, they will go and hit the head. Onyako hit the head na ebeba asiye. Inti chairman so yeso de new free Bema camp. Na sa opesa target o crime o enemy a. Sa ombone sa obedwane. Obone na obedwane, but obone ti obeto form. Inti yensuo na asay ni we ni nyina ye ti ne yakobo ye no. Yakobo eti ni wo forest ni mu. But large scale miners, because of the technology, when they even go into the forest, they have ways and means. When they are mining, they don't affect our river bodies. They don't go closer to our river bodies. Almost answer reclamation. But we don't have those technology. In Tim random man for eco forest nim. It is obesha chema want to me issue so it's starting in the forest. Into a forest no and starting my problem sinna into President Mama Bayo no say no. We will not allow this to faster. Inti yenyi Sam running free or near repeal Sam run because Sam running that's what it will empower people to enter into the forest. Inti quickly there was and say I was here yisa running free ho. Inti you see Parliament resume Sam run your bed you be free ho. By the interim need we order the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources Honorable Emmanuel Kofibu baby obi amebo na baso any adwumaden any energy a odi share ade we mu. Inti no or other minister they say any kind of sign permit be to allow anyone in the forest and to repeal the law. As I'm speaking with you on record, minister and sign any mining list to allow people to go into the forest and mine.
Into your mom will list no dada.
So say our mining companies in the I want to box sites in the money.
How about small scale for no
small scale nobody. And that is why Yati Naimos no I'm telling you the solutions are binding bar. We are trying to do it to mitigate the devastation in Niama Ase no so that in Siona say this way chocolate drink no by the next 4 years never come to say special ice mineral water. Into these are the steps.
Into 2462 no repeal no bar and never stop galamsey. And never galamsey to echa. Repeal
no bar some run or wha. Ochine bi obi betumi agina mra ne so aka say because mra ne wo hontino e was say yetumi man permit man go into the forest to go and mine. Once there is an existing law, somebody can go and test the law. But when there is no law, nobody can test the law. Into your repeal mra ne kra ne free.
And the magalam say ejai.
No, I mean cause it is part of the solution. Okay. And I told you say once you allow people to go into the forest, yes, you need to majority of our water bodies from our ecology nature say I started free the forest. Into insiona yenya ni yanom na first yekoefuo nim ni na when we are through the openye jokumo mo eja satam na electricity ni we ni wona no mo num nsuo ni bi omo nam forest ni mo omo afom kra na omo asensuo ni bi anom
na electricity wo baby bebre but still ani enum nsuo no forest ye we kropo na river nya debi na fa school ni mu ni enum pepepe
ni ha but eneno sane ma no ntia de government the 5 key pillars be by you be used to reduce or to mitigate this way. Intia starting with stakeholder engagement. We engage parliament, we engage chamber of mines, we engage civil society, engage Obia a handful. And Obia say mumbra ni ensure kwan ya befa so we will resolve this because they said you are your marking kai. Yeah, man you find your politics. You ensure from a bigger picture. So we decided to engage everyone. You free hono and you see about regulatory reforms. The Mining Act 703 said then we want to reform it. You better review the Mining Act. So as I'm speaking with you, Minerals Commission taking steps with the ministry. A lot of engagement to review the mining policy. They said they make us a large scale near 15 years. And near 30 years, and they about 15 years. Royalties near a lot of reforms are in terms of our mining. No, you free on you see about law enforcement. You strengthen your law enforcement. No, and no, any idea of NIMOS. No, and the NIMOS nebo ejuma to fit to ward people out from the water bodies in Niama. Any reclamation, any providing or other alternative livelihood. So, Chairman General, steps C and a bind say, ye these steps we so crojina we go by these steps. By the time I Ghana for ever post in this year in the next 4 years, Ghanaians will look at our scorecard. Say, ye dear mine share President John Dramani Mahama sir, Honorable Emmanuel Kofi Minister or Dano. bɔhyɛ ɔmo de hyɛ ghanafoɔ sɛ ɔmo bɛyɛ ama nsuo n'ani ada hɔ a will protect the environment ne etumi ayɛ anaa that is where the conversation Ghanaians will vote and decide say ampa yɛtumi ayɛ anaa but the interim no we are putting all these measures in place to make sure say we will get there nti chairman yɛn kaa say we been able to solve the problem 100%.